Okay, so the next maintenance item up on the list is servicing the replenishment valves. So this is a maintenance item that you do not need to remove the head for. So to this point, all you should have done is isolated the cryogenerator head from the dewar, unhooked it, and then made sure that the cryogenerator has come up to temperature. So left it off for at least 8 hours and purged all of the working fluid. However, you do not need to remove the head for this maintenance item. You don't need to remove the head for messing with the starting valves. You don't need to remove the head for adding helium or for changing the oil, or for messing with any of the external switches like the temperature switches and that sort of stuff. And I'll point that all out once we go to the cryogenerator. But the first thing you want to make sure you have before you mess with at least the starting valves and the replenishment and nourishment valves is the actual replacement parts. So you're just gonna have to dig through the myriad of DH Sterling replacement parts and make sure you have at least 4 of the maintenance kit replenishment and restarting valves here. Okay, so you need at least 4 because there's 4 cylinders and each of them has a replenishment valve. Okay, so once you make sure that you have at least 4 of these guys here, then you can go over to the cryogenerator and start removing stuff. Before you do that, you're going to need a 14mm spanner and a 32mm spanner. Okay, so let's head over there and see what you can use there. So, like I said, to this point, this should be isolated and disconnected. You should have blown off all the gas here so that it's at 0 bar. And this should have been off for at least 8 hours. It needs to be off for at least 8 hours before you open anything on here, regardless of whether you're removing the head or messing with any of the starting valves, replenishment valves, etc. Before you open it, this needs to be off for at least 8 hours. Okay. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is take off the swage connections from the replenishment valves to these gauges. So you're going to want to remove this swage nut right here and this swage nut right here, right? And this will allow you to simply pop this off. The replenishment valves are in here. Okay, so the very first step to messing with them is taking off these swage valves or these swage tubes. And there's four replenishment valves, so there should be 4 gauges and 4 swage tubes. All right, so here's the first replenishment valve and the first set of swage tubes, the second replenishment valve and the second set of swage tubes, the third replenishment valve here and the third set of swage tubing, and the fourth replenishment valve is over here, and the fourth tube is right there. So please go ahead and remove this with the 14mm. Down here. Just go ahead and grab this and move it over to your working table. So what I like to do is I go from right to left and remove things one by one and just bring them over to the table and set them in the same order that I removed them in. Do that first. 32mm, you come in here, make sure you got a good frame of that, right? So you come in here with the 32mm and then you remove this whole thing here, okay? This thing should come off pretty soon. Boom. So I'm going to do that angle on there real quick, and that's what that looks like on the inside. This is the replenishment valve here, okay? And this is what this part looks like once you remove it. Okay, so then, like I said, come back over here, set this down. Now, before you move on to the next part, and this should have in fact been one of the very first things before you even got started. So I apologize for not having this at the very beginning of the video. But before you even start messing with the replenishment valve, you're gonna need to make sure that you have this tool right here. Without this tool or this tool, you shouldn't move forward, okay? So this is the first tool that you're gonna need, and then this is the second tool that you're gonna need here. And this should be located along with the rest of the cryogenerator maintenance stuff in the cryogenerator maintenance little toolbox guy. All right, so let's go over and remove the replenishment valve. So first things first, take this guy here. And as you can see, this has these two little prongs, and so does this. Right, so you come in here and just turn it loose and just unscrew it like you would unscrew whatever regular thing you're unscrewing, right? Spark plug. Yeah, it's not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? So you remove it, and this is what it looks like when it's removed, okay? And we'll get into a little more detail on what this looks like, but it's basically a little copper piece with this little metal insert here, and then a black, rubber gasket. So set this to the side real quick, and then put this down. And then you take this guy here, unscrew this a little bit, and stick it in here, and then start to screw it in, and then just pull this out. But go ahead and take a picture or get an angle on that before I get it in. So as you can see, that has some threads in there. So the very first thing you're going to need to do is thread it in with this, right? And then once you've threaded it in with that, you can just pop it out. You just pull it out right there, boom. See that? And then to remove it, you just pull it out. So essentially, when this is inside there, and you've taken this out, then you just, or essentially when this is in there, what you're doing is pushing this into the cavity, and then threading it in, right, until it's snug, and then pulling it out. Okay, and then get a picture of the inside of there. Okay, cool. Okay, so then once you've done that, you'll completely remove the starting valve, so just go ahead and grab your tools and move it over to your work area. So once that's done, right, like I said, just lay things out from left to right, and you're gonna repeat this for all 4 of the starting valves. The very next thing you're gonna wanna do before you forget is grab a clean paper towel or a clean rag or something, hit it with some petroleum ether, and then come back over here and wipe down the inside of this, right? So that while you're working on these, the petroleum ether has time to evaporate. So you just come in here, you just clean the inside of that, all right? And then you're gonna want to do that for all 4 of the replenishment valves. So we're gonna stop the video here and then come back once I've removed all 4 of the replenishment valves.